Hello Basic4 pupils, how are you doing? Hope you're doing great. Today too we've come to learn social studies, and our topic for today is communication. Our topic is what? Communication. On daily basis, you talk. You meet your parents, you talk with them. You tell them things, they listen to you, you talk to your teachers. So you have to bear in mind what we are trying to say. So our specific objectives here say at the end of this lesson, I should be able to, that's you, the pupils, you should be able to define communication, to mention 4 types of communication, explain traditional communication, and state its advantages. State advantages of the traditional communication you have explained. So just as I was saying, you talk to your parents, to your teachers, to your brothers and sisters at home, your friends. Sometimes you chat them, isn't it? On WhatsApp, or you talk verbally, or sometimes you write letters, isn't it? You send them mails and so on. All these are what? Ways of communication. Sometimes you sit in class, you communicate with your friends like that using gestures. The teacher may be teaching you, now pinch the other person, or you do what? You either touch the other person at the back, or you use legs, or use eyes or hands. All these ones are various ways of communication. These are non-verbal communication using what? Gestures, isn't it? So you use signs, different signs. In the olden days too, people communicated. People were communicating. If you go to villages, communication is going on. So what do we mean by communication? Let's look at the meaning of communication. Communication is the exchange of information, messages or ideas between people, groups or countries. Let's take it again. Communication is what? The exchange of information, messages or ideas between people, groups or countries. When we have communication between people, we call it what? Just interpersonal communication. Between group, we have group communication. Between countries, you can even call it, or you call it what? International communication, isn't it? So we are going to look at types of communication. Types of communication. We have traditional communication. We have modern communication. We also have international communication. We have verbal communication. We have non-verbal communication. Traditional, modern, international, verbal, non-verbal communication. Someone may ask, the verbal, non-verbal, even modern and international. International communication is not modern, it is modern, but we group them into types based on where our communication information or messages are going. If they are going to group, they are group communication. They are going to single individual, between you and your friend, interpersonal communication. We have many types. All these ones are all types of communication: interpersonal, group communication, and so on. Is that taken? So let's look at traditional communication. Traditional communication is the passing of information to other people or local communities using local or traditional means. This type of communication was practiced in the past and is still useful in modern days, especially in the rural areas. What type of communication are we talking about? Traditional communication, right? And we say it's the passing of information. Information can leave you for another person, can leave you for a group of people, can leave you for a country, or maybe your school, different forms, isn't it? Between one person to the other, or between a group to another group, between country and another country, and so on. And we say this traditional communication is the local one, is not the modern one. So this one was just practiced in the olden days. Our forefathers used this means of communication, this type of traditional communication, to pass information across to other communities, to other people. They wanted them to what? Get information. Is that taken? So it is still useful in the rural areas. What are the means of traditional communication that we have? We have many means that traditional communication is applied, isn't it? For example, sending of messages or letters. Sending of messages or letters using people who track and hand over the messages to others. In the olden days, or in the rural areas where the modern communication has not evolved, you see that people communicate, they pass information. If they want people from the other community to get information or to get the messages or what they want them to hear, one way they do it, they will look for someone who is going to that community. From this community, they will now send that letter or tell that person verbal information. The person will go to the nearby community if he gets tired, because mostly they trek. If the person gets tired, he will go to that community and rest and look for someone who is going to the next community and tell him what to go there and say. Is that okay? He will say, this is the information I brought here for this community, for this group of people in the next community. Help me pass this information to them. The person will also move on. If he gets tired, if he has not reached that community, he will also hand it over to the person going to that community. Maybe people going to farm, or people going to market, or people going to the community, or maybe members of that community have crossed the bridge or come over to the other community. They will now carry that or take that message or information back to their community. That's how information was passed in the olden days, or in the rural areas, how information is still passed. Another one is the use of town criers. Town criers, those who do what? Those who use gong, or they use a microphone to pass information to other people, either in the marketplace, in the church or mosque, or they go to where many have gathered, isn't it? Where they are making a ceremony, celebrating a ceremony, either marriage ceremony, either festival, anything that brings people together, isn't it? The town crier will go there. Mostly they do this sometimes at night, where people have come back to their houses from the farms or markets. They have settled at home. They come, move around the streets of the community and say what they are asked to tell the community members. It could either be from the community chief or the village head, isn't it? It could be from the religious leaders, or it could be from the government, isn't it? They will now come, give the town crier to move around and enlighten people, tell people about what the government, the chief, or the religious organization want them to hear. Another one is talking and gestures. Talking, as I'm talking, they can talk and make gestures. People will know. They communicate to people differently, as I told you earlier, that even you sometimes use signs. You use your parts of the body to communicate, either your eyes, your mouth, your nose, your hands, legs, to communicate. They also make gestures. Is that okay? In those days, they want someone not to come, they will just signal you not to come at all. Don't come here, there's a danger ahead. Don't come, go back, go back. They make such a gesture, isn't it? So another way of communication, another means here, is by social function. Social function here, through social function you see that information is easily passed around to people, isn't it? Where people gather to celebrate either birth, marriages, festivals, and so on. Another means to pass this information in the traditional communities is in the market or through the market. In the market, people, buyers and sellers come there, they gather. You see women coming with their farm produce, or maybe coming to sell miniature things in the market, or big things. They depends on what they have, the products they bring to the market. So in the market, either the town crier or the people that want to pass information across, they will easily get somebody in the market to send him that message or give him the pass the information through him. Is that okay? So the information that has been given or gotten from the market, you see women, men also taking them back as they go. Some of these local men, they come, they go to where some of the huts that some of these traditional drinks are sold, either brukutu, pito, palm wine. They like such information from the market. They will be happy taking it back to their communities. They will now spread the news, spread the information about what they got from the market, or what they get from the market. They will take it back happily, isn't it? So it's another way of fulfillment. They've come to the market, they've seen new people, and they interact and get information to pass to to relate to their communities, isn't it? Another one is the use of traditional drums like the what? The Yoruba talking drums, the Ekwe or Ogene of the Igbo people, the Ajo or the Ilu of the Tea people. We have the Gengad or Ganga of the Hausa people, isn't it? Then we also have the smoke or bonfires. Smoke or bonfires. These people in the traditional communities, sometimes they want to pass this information to others. They will just set fire, and smoke will go out to the world, open space, to the atmosphere, and people, there's a kind of maybe wood or clothes or some rags there are things they use, or maybe they will use some grasses and burn this fire, and the smoke will go out. When the smoke goes out, sometimes deep, they will know that something is happening there. They will begin to attract to that place. Is that okay? We also have the gunshots, firing of guns, traditional guns. Most of these guns are used by local or traditional hunters. They fire them out, fire them out. They are sounds. The traditional dwellers are associated with these sounds of these things. The sounds of the gun, the sound of the drum, the sounds, the voice, all these ones, they are associated with them. So if the sound is inviting them for marriage, they know. If it's inviting them for burial, they know. If it's inviting them for either a religious gathering, or maybe if it's their traditional ruler or community leader that invites, maybe call them together for gathering or what community discussion, they know, they are familiar, they are associated with these sounds of these objects, isn't it? So there are also objects used as signals. Objects used as signals. They use objects to make signal, to make sign. You turn here, do not go here. Here the bridge has cut. They also make signals like that using objects, and the people are familiar with it. Here you can see some of these images of this traditional communication. As I was saying them, telling you about them, you can easily see some of them there as I've displayed. Then we look at the advantages of this traditional communication, the importance or the advantages, the usefulness of this word traditional communication. Is it useful? Can we just abandon it and only take the modern communication? If we abandon it, what about those who live in the cities, who live in modern communities? What about those who live in the rural areas? Won't they get information again if we say we abandon the traditional communication? Is it right? It won't give any information to the rural dwellers or rural settlers again. The advantage is there for the traditional dwellers to also get this. One of the advantages here is that it is cheap to operate. Traditional communication does not cost money. In the city or modern communication, you buy this communication gadgets, isn't it? You buy television, you buy newspaper, you buy telephones, you buy radio, different things with money, and you keep spending money in recharging or subscribing them from time to time. It takes money, it costs money, isn't it, to buy them and to even maintain. But in the traditional communication, it is so cheap. It does not cost money. It's just your energy that is required for you to trek, maybe use this small thing. You can even use the flute or use cut some of these herbs in the that have holes inside, like pipe. They carry pipe. You can blow it like whistle and communicate to people. It's so easy. Is that okay? During our time when we're going to primary school in the villages, we're cutting these things, making flutes with them, making horn, using them like that. We're enjoying life in the villages. You don't know those ones. So another one is, it does not require experts to operate, isn't it? Does not require expert to operate. So one can just do what? One does not even need training to operate it. He can operate on his own. Can just cut this thing and blow. You can get animal horn like this bull or cow. You can just get it from there, or even the goat that we have. If it has a horn and is slaughtered in your house, you keep that horn. If something happens and you want to call your friend, you just blow it. If you want them to gather for a play, you just call them. So these are just local things. They don't need money to be bought. Is that okay? And no need of experts. Like here, you go for training before you operate a laptop. You learn different web design and other things. So it's not like that in this form of communication, traditional communication. No electricity is required. It does not require electricity. Electricity is not needed in traditional communication. You just go out and you send someone to help you, the person that is going there. One good thing is that the people they love themselves, isn't it? They are friendly. They can accept doing what the other person asks him to do. They help others. They help one another. So the other one, number 4, says information can slowly reach other communities. Slowly, but it will reach, isn't it? The major thing is information can reach other communities and they will get information. Though it will be slow, but it will achieve its what? Aim of communication. It also gives the village dwellers a sense of modernization. They have a sense of belonging. They are also getting information from the other part of the community, from the community rulers, from the religious leaders. They are getting information even when they live. Some of them live very far in huts, in forest. They live far, but yet they still get information. So it serves them and gives them pleasure, gives them joy, isn't it? So another one says it serves the purpose of communication. It's another advantage. In traditional communication, the purpose is achieved. It achieves the purpose of communicating to the rural dwellers, to the villagers, the people in the rural area. So let's look at the disadvantages of traditional communication. Disadvantages of traditional communication. They are the problems that traditional communication has. Is that okay? Is there any problem from what we discussed here? Is there any disadvantage you think traditional communication has? that you can suggest? All right, let's look at some of them here. The first one says the information may not be clear for everybody to understand. The information that is to be passed from one person to the other, or the town crier is moving around the community, saying it, passing it. Maybe he may be doing it in a rush. Some people may be listening. If they miss that information and the person has gone far to the other side of the community, those who are there, they may not get clear information. For sometimes they may come to the other side asking, yet they may go far before reaching another settled home, because people have scattered homes. Before you trek to another person's house or compound or premises, you go far, you sweat. So if they pass through your side and they say information, they pass information, and maybe you're in the kitchen cooking, or you're eating, you're enjoying your meal, you may not get it. So, or you may not get it clearly, because it is not even from the first hand person, isn't it? The other one says it is quite slow. The information is not fast. It's not fast. In the modern communication, you discover that within few seconds you pass information and it just connect and reach that person. Once you're able to connect to the network of that person, is easy and is fast. But in traditional communication, it's a disadvantage. It is not fast. How can someone move from this community to the other one? Trekking. When will he arrive? When will he reach that community? Sometimes the information may not even get there. So slow, isn't it? If it's something that needs or demands what? Urgent attention or urgent action, that slow movement of the or passage of the information will make it not to achieve certain purposes, isn't it? The third one says the information might get lost along the way before reaching its destination, before getting to where it's supposed to arrive or to reach. Sometimes it might get lost on the way, isn't it? Sometimes the person taking it might get tired, and he might even become hungry and forget the vital things, because sometimes it's not written. He will just put in his head, and if he forgets how the information was given to him, was handed to him, if he forgets, if he hands it over to the third person to take it to another community, you discover that the main what? Those vital things in that information will be thrown out, so the information will get lost, isn't it? Before reaching where it's supposed to get. The fourth one says it wastes time, much time and energy. You can even explain that one to me, isn't it? Much time is wasted and energy is also wasted, as the person is trekking to pass information, is wasting time, and his energy is using his energy, isn't it? As he's going around and making that noise, talking, waste energy like what? Teachers. Because as we teach you, we talk, energy is wasted, isn't it? So, number 5, it might be twisted. The information might be what? Twisted, and vital pieces of this information may get missing or changed completely, isn't it? If I hand over information to this person, it is verbal information, he will take it to another person and add his own thing, remove the other ones that he does not want from there. Maybe the information is for some members of the community to be punished. So if the person does not want people to be punished in that community, he will not even mention that one at all, isn't it? So he will twist it, he will change that one, and some vital information there will be missing, and that is how it has become disadvantage as well, isn't it? The other one, which is the 6th point, says bad weather can also prevent the information from being delivered. For example, during downpour, what is downpour? Rainfall. If heavy rain is coming down, isn't it? A bonfire, for example, may not work. If they want to shoot that gun or maybe set bonfire, it uses what? The fire to burn it out in the bush. So a bonfire may not work because of bad weather, isn't it? And sometimes if it's what, maybe heavy breeze or stormy wind, isn't it? If the information is going round, the breeze will be taking it to another far place, which will divert the information completely. And during downpour as well, even town criers may not walk, isn't it? Because they walk with their legs. Is that not so? So let's take assignment. We've learned so much. Do not forget anything there. Define communication. State 4 advantages of traditional communication and give 4 disadvantages of traditional communication. Submit this to the WhatsApp number 07036309013. Write it neatly before you submit. Write on a book, snap it and send to that WhatsApp number. Do not send to any email. If you got email before, don't send it to it. Send here so I can mark directly and give you feedback quickly. Do not delay submission. Is that okay? Thank you and stay safe.